Hi, this is Mike from Business Analytiq. This is a short video on how encryption works in Business Analytiq. So, when you work in Business Analytiq, you have the option to set an encryption password, and that encryption password will encrypt the descriptions of private data. So it will not encrypt the numbers themselves, it will encrypt the descriptions, so that in fact every bit of data that is either private or a benchmark can have two descriptions: a public one that can always be read and a private one which can only be read if you enter the encryption password. So in my case, if I log on to the system under my own account, the system will prompt me and say, do I want to provide my encryption password? In other words, do I want to work with my private descriptions, or do I want to work with the public descriptions? But for now, let's work with the public descriptions. Now, for my data series, which is effectively the data in the system, you cannot encrypt it, but for my private data series, you could create a private description of your private data series. So if you look here, water-based resin, in fact, there is a hidden name of this series in the system, which is not available when you're in a public operating mode. Same with benchmarks. In the benchmark, you'll see there's an index called water-based resin versus cost drivers. It's very nondescript, and if people had access to the system unauthenticated, they would not be able to understand much about which water-based resin this is. However, if I were to enter my encryption password, I then go into private mode setting, which means I now will get to see the actual description. So if I now look at my benchmarks, you'll see that the water-based resin versus cost drivers has now changed to SE111 versus cost drivers for IBM. So it shows the product code and the cost drivers. And if I go to my private data series, also there you will see that the water-based resin has changed to BASF SE111. In other words, you can now see the hidden description of the product. Now, with benchmarks, if you do share them with other people, as I showed in a separate video, you're able to share benchmarks with other people. For example, this benchmark has been shared with Mike at businessanalytiq.com. They would only ever see the public description. They will never have access to the encrypted version of the descriptions. And of course, when you set up a new private data series or a benchmark, you have the option to give it a public name, but also to add a private name, so that that's only available when you're in unencrypted mode. The final thing to say on the encryption is that once you set the password, it cannot be changed. So you set it the first time, I would say keep it simple, so you do not forget it. And if you do forget it, also the Business Analytiq team cannot help you to unlock the private descriptions. We have no ability to unencrypt your data. So once that encryption password is lost, you can never reset it, and you can never unencrypt the data that you encrypted. So you're committed to using the public descriptions of the system, which of course you can still edit, but you no longer have the ability to encrypt data because the password has been forgotten. And there's some further details on the My Encryption page on how the system works. It's not very complicated, but it's worth taking a moment to reflect and maybe ask for support if you need it before you use an encryption password. In general, we don't recommend it, but of course it's there, it works, and it's completely part of the system if that's how you want to go. That's all. If you need any further support on this topic, please contact us at support@businessanalytiq.com, and thank you.